Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys making some time to come around the channel here and check the video out. Really appreciate that. Hey guys, today this is going to be a good one for the people that stay throughout the length of the video and absorb all the information here. We're going to be talking about the importance of feel in bass fishing. And I don't mean the feel as far as feeling the strike. I'm talking about this instinctual, intuitive feel that you get when you're actually fishing that really determines if you're in the right spot or if you're doing the right thing or not. This is a high level bass fishing technique. I don't expect a lot of people to, to fully appreciate or grasp what I'm talking about here, but this is advanced bass fishing, so we're getting into a little bit more evolved topics. But I can assure you that every marquee top angler in the world understands the importance of getting in tune with the feel that they have instinctually when they're on the water. So I'm going to sort of explain that in today's video and sort of give you guys some tips and advice on how to hone that a little bit. Also, guys, just a quick invitation. You may have heard me talk about this, but Tackle Warehouse has got a bunch of good fall sales on right now. They got this deal called the more you buy, the more you save. In other words, the more you purchase, the bigger discounts you get, like over 10, 15, 20 lures, whatever it is. So I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video. If you guys are interested in that, you can use that link to get that and support the channel. And also, I'd just like to invite everybody to please consider subscribing here to the channel if you haven't. Really appreciate that also. Okay, guys, this is one of those deals where a lot of anglers tune out. Ever since I've been doing these fishing videos, I can make a pretty accurate prediction. If I talk about new lure, new technique, new color, a lot of people stay interested. But when I'm talking about things like feel and instincts and intuition and the more abstract parts of bass fishing that, make no mistake about it, are the most important part of bass fishing, a lot of people tune out. And so I'd encourage you, if you've been one of those people in the past, to sort of absorb this a little bit, what I'm talking about here. Now, bass fishing, especially on a high level, is a very, very, it's a mysterious sport. And they're, even on a recreational or fun level, it's a mysterious sport because you've always heard about guys back in the day, some old grandpa somewhere has sort of got a feel for where the fish are at, or he knows where the fish are at. He's got some instincts about how to catch fish. This is age old as far as anglers. Some just old anglers understand, where the fish at. They can't really explain it. It's sort of a feeling. So this is sort of what I'm talking about on this particular level. It's very, very important for you to get in tune with how your body feels when you're in an area fishing. Now, what I'm talking about here, let's say that you roll up onto an area. Let's say you get out on the lake and you got an idea where you want to go to, and you pull into an area that looks good. Now, some people pull into those areas because it's obvious that it looks good. There may be a nice row of boat docks in there. There may be some lay down trees, or maybe a really nice green grass bed or something. It just looks good. But there's a difference between pulling into an area that obviously looks good and then pulling into an area that you just got this feeling that it might produce. So that's one thing about that. I'm not saying that once you develop this instinct that it works every time, but it doesn't. But a lot of times, more than not, it will work. But more importantly, what I want to talk about is, say for example, you pull into your first area in the morning. Now, it doesn't matter how you chose to get there. You got on your first spot. Now, when you start fishing in there, everybody sort of has a sense of anticipation of the unknown. That's the beauty of fishing. You don't really know what's there unless you're spotlighting. But for most anglers, if you're working down a rocky bank or, a grass line, you don't really know what's there. You got an idea that there might be some fish there, but there's an element of the unknown. But what happens is, instinctually, if you pay attention to how your body feels, and this feeling usually comes from your solar plex area. It's almost like there's like maybe a peace that comes over you, or there's an anxiety, or just something just doesn't feel right, and everything in between. Now, a lot of it has to do if you're getting bit or not. If you're getting bit, everything feels good. But if you're not getting bit, everything may feel bad. But what you need to do here is, when you pull into that area and you start fishing, and say you catch a few fish, or maybe don't catch a fish or whatever, one of the things that you need to do is you need to pay close attention to how it feels to be there. Does it feel good for you to be there? It's like, Do you feel that you might catch a fish every cast? Do you feel that, like, as you're reeling your lure through the water, that one could get on it at any time? That is what you have to pay close attention to. If you're out there and you're feeling good and it feels right, and it's like, even though you're not catching fish, it's like, man, I just like the way this feels. It looks good. It feels good to be here. I can see myself catching a fish here. That is a very good indicator that you're in the right thing. But if you get out there and you feel like you're just casting, and your mind tends to wander a little bit, and you don't really feel or expect that you're going to get a bite every single cast, that's a good indication. A lot of times, guys, you need to either change your area or change the lure, change your presentation, change something. That's a good sign that on a deeper level, that your body's just, your innate intelligence is telling you something there. I've seen this take place in my own fishing over and over and over again, countless amount of times, and I try to pay very close attention to it. So you've got to be comfortable with where you're fishing. If I could give you guys one tip to really focus on, is like when you're looking for fish and you're hunting fish, you got to feel comfortable with where you're at. And the good rule with that, guys, is like, I've talked a little bit about in the past as far as on a more surface level. If you fish for 15 or 20 minutes and don't get a bite, it's time to either move on or it's time to change your lures or something. That's on a surface level. But a lot of times I have been in an area where it's like, I'm not getting any bites at all, but it just feels good to be there. It just feels really, really good to be there. I'll give you guys a prime example of what I'm talking about. The last Bassmaster Top 150 tournament that I won down at Mobile Delta in Alabama, this particular creek that I wound up winning the tournament in, the first morning of practice, I went in there and I shut down sort of at the mouth of the creek. And it looked good. It looked like a really good creek. It's like nobody was in there. It felt really good to be in there. It's like, you know, it was perfect looking cover, a lot of lay down trees, perfect water clarity. Everything just felt right. And I worked through that creek. I got through this creek was probably, I'm going to guess, maybe a quarter of a mile long, something like that. And I got through almost half of that creek without a bite. And I'm talking about, I was picking the cover apart slowly, and I haven't had a bite, but and it took me several hours to work through there, and I still hadn't had a bite. But I kept telling my man, it just feels good to be here. Something just feels right to be here. So I made a couple adjustments on bait, not any major things. And it's like, once I got about halfway back in there, it's like I started getting a bite or two. I caught a couple decent fish. And then, you know, everything started clicking, and I wound up winning the tournament in that one creek. But if I wouldn't have paid attention to how I was feeling internally when I went in there, I could have left that creek after 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, I literally was in there for like 2 hours without a bite, and I kept going and kept going. But if I tried to intellectualize it on a surface level and say, okay, man, I've been in here for 30 minutes, I fished a bunch of good looking stuff, the fish just may not be in here, I'm out of here. So pay close attention to, you know, that's a really good example I can give you. So basically the thing that I want to reiterate in this video from an advanced bass fishing level is that bass fishing on a pure level, and bass fishing on what I consider real bass fishing without the aid of technology, this is the instincts that you have to rely on. You have to hone these instincts. And the Native American Indians, you guys hear me talk about this a lot, they were masters at understanding and, you know, feeling, you know, everything in nature from an instinctual level. They had to. They were hunters and anglers, and they gatherers, and they had to be very in tune about how areas felt. And it's the same today, guys. It's sort of a lost art that we have. It's an ability that every single one of us has. I think that we're gifted with that. We're born with that instinct to know if something's right or not right, that actually can, you know, depend upon our survival or not. And fishing is it's a survival sport. I mean, it's like if you cut away all the foo-foo and hoo-ha about, you know, the materialization of fishing is basically a thing to get you where you can survive and eat and survive on this planet. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Throw me some comments on that, and we'll check in later. See you.